for every woman who wants to be in sports but doesn't know the bigger world, can you explain what your world is and why you love it?
Sure. My world is behind the scenes. What I specifically do is I handle all of the editing of highlight packages and instant replays for those sideline producers and the talent in the booth to talk about during their opens or during the game itself. So I work very closely with the producer and director of the broadcast to come up with content that the talent has requested. Outside of that, during the game, it is sort of all in motion. You don't know what's going to happen. So you are always a part of exactly what's going on in the moment and ready at any moment to show the fans at home what they're, a second look of what's going on, a home run or a great pass for a touchdown. So you're always really engaged with both sides of the sport, the actual sport itself, and then everything that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's something that I guess I have never really thought about too much, but now is just so clear to me. I'm really wondering how you found this path and how you got into it.
I actually started when I was your age. I was a junior in high school, and I had a teacher that did a video production class and basically taught how to edit. And back then it was on VHS and beta tapes. We didn't have Final Cut Pro or iMovie or anything like that. So we learned how to edit, and we worked with the local cable studio to broadcast our high school football games. I grew up in the Northeast, a small town in Massachusetts, and we didn't have lacrosse or anything like that. We had football, that was it. And every one of our high school football games was broadcast on our public access station by students in this production class. So that was sort of where I got my first taste of it. And I went to Boston University following that same path and ended up working for the Patriots by my sophomore year, doing their in-house production. And I've been on that path ever since.
That's awesome. So your job is to tell other people's stories, but really when it comes to yours, what are you most proud of?
You know what, I love to travel. It's been a huge passion of mine growing up, going places, going on ski trips, going, just seeing new places, meeting new people, and really sort of learning about the cultures of those places, not the resort lifestyle, but what's actually going on in the areas I get to visit. And this career has brought me to places that I would never dreamed of going. So it has only made my passion for travel that much greater. I'm so fortunate that it's given me that pathway. The best part about my job is maybe they send me to Moscow for a week to cover something there. Well, what's not to say that I can't take another 2 weeks after that and stay and vacation and enjoy all that Moscow has to offer in a personal way, not in a work-based way. And that's really been so great for me. I mean, it's really just, it's a perk of this job, but really it's such a perk of life as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I definitely was very excited to see that you were involved in Olympics and Super Bowls and a lot of different events all over the world. But I know that you have won many Emmys for Super Bowls, the Olympics, and such huge events. And these are bucket list events
They certainly are.
I'm just wondering, what's the biggest thing on your bucket list that doesn't involve sports beyond?
It doesn't involve sports. I really want, when I was even in high school, college, I wanted to get involved with Habitat for Humanity and sort of give back to these communities that I do get to see. And I have never gotten a chance to do that. So I would love to be able to give more of my time, giving back to some of these places that I've gone that are in places that aren't so well off as we are, and really be able to give back. That's something that I would really, really love to do. Other than that, bucket list things, I don't know that I feel like I have a list a million miles long and I can't come up with anything brilliant right now, but it seems like everywhere I go, there's something that my eyes are open to that I wasn't aware of before. Even if it's just being in, a city that I've never seen and exploring just the history of the city, or just walking around to little cafes and just sort of taking the time to enjoy it, is really sort of, I prefer to live in the moment than to sort of plan out these big hopes and dreams and then feel badly that I didn't get to do them.
Yeah, I personally, I have done a lot of work in neighborhood revitalization. And
very nice.
I definitely encourage you, when the time comes that you do get involved, to enjoy it, because it's something that I really enjoy spending my time doing.
That's great.
So I want to take a turn to more of the technical side.
Sure.
So the world of sports broadcasting is predominantly men, and but your side, the tech side, is definitely overwhelmingly male dominated.
Yeah, it is.
Initially, how intimidating was that, and how do you navigate that?
Honestly, I would say that when I first started out, it was very intimidating. I was totally green. I didn't really know what I was doing. I sort of got thrown into the situation. I lucked into a situation that put me on some of these really, really big shows right off the top. And I kind of embraced the fake it till you make it mentality. But in the meantime, what I really did is I threw myself into actually the technical side. And at this point, I pride myself on knowing that technically I'm a very sound engineer, and I can troubleshoot what goes on as well as anyone else. And that's really sort of what gave me the confidence early on, that when I didn't really stand to be second guessed, I guess is the way I would put it, when people would ask, oh, are you sure that I shouldn't go check with Joe over here, And it was sort of like, well, why would you go check with him when I'm right here? And that sort of, it is intimidating, honestly, especially as a young woman, especially as a not so young woman anymore. It still can be intimidating. But I think it really is, you sort of have to, stand your ground, and just, if you know what you're talking about, don't let anyone tell you that you don't,
Yeah, that's definitely in so many layers applicable. We're wrapping up, and I would love to kind of do something that I hope will make you think. I know that Laura has told me that you meet with young women such as myself right now to talk about your path and their paths, and there will be a whole bunch of young women watching this. I would like you to finish this sentence. If you love blank, you would love my job.
Oh, it's so encompassing. Like, really, if you love sports, you would love my job. It really is, it encompasses all of it. It really does, from every detail, top to bottom. And then, computers, sports and computers. It's really technology driven, but my gosh, it's all sports. It's taking all the detail of it and bringing it to people at home in a way that they can't experience it if they're not at the field.
That's awesome. Amanda, I have enjoyed so much getting to know you, about your do, and especially your who you are, and everything that encompasses that. I can't thank you enough for your time and insight, and I'm so fortunate to have had the chance to learn from you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me as well. It's great to see young women that are interested in all sides of this path. It really is.